The history of the United States lasting back hundreds of years, long before the country even existed. It's a story of growth, desire to do great things, conflict and constant design full of big thinking, deep disagreements between things and moments that changed the world. Long before 1492, North America was already home to millions of people. Native nations had lived on this land for thousands of years, building complex communities of people with their own governments and related to religion traditions. Civilizations like the ancestral Puebloans built stone cities in the Southwest. The Mississippian peoples built huge earth mounds in growing and successful trade centers. This wasn't an empty land waiting to be discovered. It was alive, diverse, and deeply rooted. Everything changed after Christopher Columbus's trip in 1492. European powers rushed to claim land, wealth. 13 colonies grew into busy centers of farming, trade, and self-rule, but they also depended heavily on enslaved African labor, especially in the South. After Britain fought and won the French and Indian War, it was deep in department. To recover, Parliament raised taxes on the colonies. The colonists pushed back, arguing they were being taxed without representation. Protests turned into conflict. Events like the Boston Tea Party showed how fed up the colonies were. In 1776, leaders declared independence from Britain, putting their lives on the line by signing the Declaration of Independence. The Revolutionary War was long and cruel. George Washington held together a struggling army against the world's strongest empire. With critical help from France, the Americans finally won at Yorktown in 1781. 2 years later, Britain officially recognized the United States. But independence didn't mean stability. The first government under the Articles of Confederation was weak. In response, leaders wrote the U.S. Constitution, creating a stronger federal system with checks and balances. George Washington became the first president, and the Bill of Rights promised basic freedoms. The new nation expanded fast. The Louisiana Purchase doubled U.S. territory almost overnight. But expansion came at a cost. Native Americans were forced off their lands, and the country became more and more divided over slavery. The North industrialized, building factories and railroads, while the South depended on cotton and enslaved labor. When Abraham Lincoln was elected president, Southern states break up, forming the Confederacy. The Civil War that followed was the bloodied conflict in American history. The war transformed the nation. Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation declared enslaved people free in Confederate states, and the Union victory preserved the country. Slavery was abolished, and new constitutional amendments promised citizenship and voting rights to formerly enslaved people. But recreating didn't last. Federal troops withdrew from the South, allowing segregation, voter suppression, and Jim Crow laws to take hold for generations. America surged into the industrial age. Massive corporations rose, cities exploded in size, and millions of immigrants arrived seeking opportunity. Tycoons like Rockefeller and Carnegie became unbelievably wealthy, while workers struggled with dangerous conditions and low pay. Reformers pushed back during the Progressive Era. New laws regulated businesses, protected workers, and expanded democracy. Women finally gained the right to vote in 1920. By the end of the century, the U.S. had also become a global power, especially after winning the Spanish-American War. The stock market crash of 1929 shattered the economy. Unemployment rose, banks failed, and families lost everything. President Franklin D. Roosevelt responded with the New Deal government programs that created jobs, stabilized banks, and introduced Social Security. Then came World War II. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the U.S. mobilized its entire economy for war. American forces helped defeat Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. The war ended in 1945 with the use of atomic bombs, and the United States emerged as the world's leading superpower. After the war, America entered a long draw with the Soviet Union. The Cold War shaped everything from foreign wars in Korea and Vietnam to fear and paranoia at home. At the same time, Americans fought for justice within their own borders. The Civil Rights Movement challenged segregation and discrimination. Landmark victories like Brown versus Board of Education, the Civil Rights Act, and the Voting Rights Act reshaped the nation. The era also brought cultural change, political scandal, and growing distrust in government. The Cold War ended in 1991, leaving the U.S. as the world's dominant power. The 1990s brought economic growth and a tech revolution, but the 21st century opened with crisis.